Hello, I'm Bob Weir with another interview of People in the News in North Texas. My guest today is Councilman James Webb. Jason Webb, I'm sorry.
My brother is James.
Hey, look at that, I wasn't on that. He's running for re-election to place one on the Flower Mound Town Council. Thank you for being here, Jason Webb.
It's my pleasure.
Please tell residents something about yourself, such as your education, occupation, so forth.
Okay. I've been a resident of Flower Mound for 15 years. I currently work for a company called Joshua Expeditions, which does trips for private schools, doing lead trips to Europe and scheduled trips to Europe for them. I've been a resident who has served in many different capacities within Flower Mound and within our area. I started off as an associate pastor at a church and then began serving in various other roles. But for the last 2 years I was on the Board of Adjustments, and now last year I ran for Town Council Place 1 and won election, and I also serve on the Animal Services Board currently.
And so you ran for the 1 year because that was what was left of the term of a council member who had left?
Yes.
Right, okay, just so it's clear. So after being a councilman for a year, what are the pressing issues in Flower Mound?
Okay. Flower Mound, we're growing very steadily compared to the rest of the region. The rest of the region is growing very quickly, and Flower Mound's been able to grow rather steadily during that time. And I think that that's something that is important to Flower Mound, to maintain and manage our growth and do it smartly within the region that we're in. Currently we're growing about 1.5%, 1% in population every year. But regionally, they're growing at 3%, 5% in many of the areas. And so the ability of Flower Mound to manage our growth in a respectful way to development, but also in a way that keeps Flower Mound standards high, is one of the things that's pressing in Flower Mound as far as moving forward in the next few years. Some other issues that have come up recently are senior housing. I think that's a pressing one on how are we going to handle this need within our community. We have a need, it's an express need from our seniors, but it's also a demographic need within our community to provide senior housing. What we do have on the market right now is rather expensive. It's somewhat prohibitive for many seniors to be able to stay in Flower Mound that already live here. And so that's another issue that we're looking at. Things like traffic, things like our tree ordinance are important to make sure that we keep the values of Flower Mound as they've been for many years as we move forward in the next 5, 10, 15 years to maintain those values within Flower Mound.
All right, now you've answered several questions before I even got to them. But that's okay. Just to go back briefly, the affordable senior housing,
Yes.
The council had a proposal just recently, but this was for apartments.
Yes.
And that was put on hold, is it? Or what?
Well, that one was essentially denied. Those two applications. One of the issues with senior housing is how do we make it something that is an affordable product within our market? For me personally, I believe that we really could use a product in the $1,000 to $1,500 range for a rental price that's specifically made for seniors. There's several ways that you can do that, but currently within our master plan, there's not many spaces to put that kind of housing.
Right.
And in order to do that, and this is something I talked about at my last election, that in order to get senior housing, that I'm okay with high density specifically for senior housing. And that's something that's the only way to be able to bring it into the market in an affordable fashion. Now, how does that come? Does it come as single unit bungalows or as rentals? Those are options that we need to hear from developers on how can they bring it. And that's something that we're working with our town staff to go out and try and see what is available within Flower Mound.
All right, how about the rate of commercial and residential growth in town?
Okay, I mentioned that we're steadily growing. We're not growing as fast as other areas within the region, and I think that that's because Flower Mound traditionally has tried to hold back growth and to make sure that it's responsible growth. That's growth that fits our area. And so commercially, we've done very well in the last 5 years or so to kind of build up that commercial base that then has allowed our tax base to grow, take the burden off of our residents, and reduce and increase our commercial tax, which increases our our sales tax income for the town. So we're able to keep parks, that we're able to increase our park space, maintain and replace equipment that's aging, but also use that money to improve roads, to do the things that Flower Mound wants to keep at a high standard. We're able to do because our commercial tax base has increased.
Well, let me ask you about the questions have come up about the incentivizing of businesses to come to the town. How do you feel about that?
There's two ways to look at this. One way is I do not like government throwing money at businesses, but within the environment that we find ourselves, incentives are a necessary portion of attracting businesses.
It is very competitive, I
Yes.
understand, right? If we don't get something, another town might take it instead.
Yes,
and, you know,
we are often competing against our neighbors who have a lot of the same amenities, a lot of the from a business standpoint, a lot of the same things that to offer a business. And so, as a town, we've been very, in my opinion, very conservative with when we give out 380 agreements, which is the chapter of the code. When we give out 380 agreements, they're relatively rare. For example, we've only had, since I've been on council, we've only had one come before us, and on that incentive for a new business coming to town, we gave about $100,000. But our projection, and I believe it's true, we're going to make $600,000 off of that $100,000 investment.
And so you have to project down the road for what you will bring to the town.
For what it will bring to town,
Right.
and we get an incentive report every year from our economic development department that shows that every incentive that we've given that's currently out, we are coming out ahead with every incentive, that we are making much more money than what we put in.
All right, let's look at some of the larger developments in town. Are you happy with the progress on Riverwalk, Lakeside, the hotel, and so forth?
Okay, Lakeside is amazing. The other communities within Dallas come and look at what we've done in Lakeside as an example of what they can do in their community. It is a wonderful project that we've been able to highlight in Flower Mound to draw residents, to draw business, to draw things. Lakeside's been doing very good. There's still some development there, still things that we need to work on. Riverwalk, the things that we have received from Riverwalk, the hospital, La Madeline, Market Street, those are doing really well, and we love them as a community. What we don't like is dirt. No one likes looking at dirt, and there's a lot of dirt right now at Riverwalk. And so as a council, we this last year we've been able to take a couple of barriers away to start progressing the building. We've just approved the amphitheater, the splash pad. We just approved a new site plan for another portion of Riverwalk this last Monday. So what Riverwalk will be is a great asset to Flower Mound.
And the developer, has the developer lived up to the parameters before PID money is given and stuff like that? I mean, is it in coordination with the way it was planned?
I don't know if it's in 100% coordination with the original plan, but as far as PID money going out and the developer holding up their end of the bargain, currently we're still in a good place with the developer moving forward. I know that there are rumors of things with the developer, but my understanding is that none of those will hurt the town in any way, that the town is protected from any of those, the PID money going to something that we don't want.
All right, in your bio, you mentioned finding solutions to the increase in traffic in
Yes.
the town. What have you found?
Okay, well, as Flower Mound, we have limited ways for people to leave, to get out of Flower Mound, to go to work outside of Flower Mound. And most of those roads are controlled by the state. And so that's one of the difficulties that we have, is that 2499, 3040, 1171 are all controlled by the state. Well, 1171 got increased capacity this last year, and it's a beautiful road all the way out to 377 out onto the highway. Some things that are going to help our traffic problem is when I-35 gets completed, then a lot of the traffic that currently sees 2499 as the best way out might start moving towards 35. For example, the Highland Village residents that currently come through Flower Mound might start going to 35 when it gets completed. Another aspect is maybe increasing the capacity on the roads that we do have, such as Lakeside, which would then provide another way out of our town to a highway to be able to get to work in a quicker fashion.
Well, I tell you what, in a short time, it goes so fast,
I know.
in a short time, we've covered a lot though. And
Yes.
I want to thank you for being here, Councilman Webb, and good luck in the campaign.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for watching.